welcome to Fifth House Divination. My name's Kirsty, and today we are going to do a flick through of the Book of Shadows Tarot by Barbara Moore. The deck that I've got here contains both volumes, so there's actually two decks of tarot in this box. The tarot decks are available independently, so if you're interested in buying just these as above or just the so below decks, then you can do that. I believe I've time-stamped the video. I will time-stamp the video, so if there is just one particularly that you're interested in, then you can click on that and that will take you straight to the cards. Obviously the packaging will be different to what I've got here because they'll be packed individually, but the cards themselves will be the same. So the Book of Shadows Tarot, it's sort of based on the Hermetic principle of as above, so below. And that things that manifest on a sort of a spiritual plane also correspond to kind of earthly 3D happenings. So within the deck there is the as above deck looks more at the sort of the spiritual energetic side of life, and the so below deck depicts more day-to-day kind of mundane occurrences. And there is within the book, it comes with the book, and you can actually sort of combine both decks, which is quite interesting. But I'm not going to get into that really. I'm going to show you the book, show you the cards, and then obviously it's just, you know, it's up to you guys how you use it, but it's quite interesting. To be fair, I don't understand enough about the kind of the pagan side of it, so I wouldn't want to say the wrong thing. So I'm just going to show you the deck, and obviously you guys, you know, you'll be able to make up your mind for yourself. So the pack in its entirety together comes in this really beautiful sort of sturdy box. It's Barbara Moore, and then it's the complete edition that I've got, the two decks, and it's published by Lo Scarabeo, who most of you who tune in regularly to the unpacking that I do all know that I'm a bit of a fan. It's got the magnetic clasp on the side, and then inside there is a book. And it's like, so I've had this book for a while. I've been using it. So probably the main one of the main differences is that the suits are called by their what's the word? Their energetic types. So we've got fire, water. So the majors. So in the book there is a little bit about both decks. As I say, the as above deck is much more sort of energetic, esoteric than the so below. There's correspondences to planets. It's absolutely beautiful, absolutely fascinating book. But there's all kinds of good stuff in here. And then in the below deck, to say we've got, and it does actually, for those of you that are relatively new to the tarot, while the depictions don't follow the standard Rider-Waite depictions, the meanings are the same, and it's actually got some pretty cool quick kind of a sort of a quick meaning guide for each of the cards, so that's quite interesting. So the so below deck's pretty sort of accessible. The as above deck is absolutely beautiful, but it is a little bit more esoteric. Those of you that are either kind of following a kind of a pagan path, or that you're very energetically inclined, the symbology is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It's quite interesting to read it, as I say. So that's the book, and then within it we've got the 2 decks. As I say, I have used mine, it's all been unpacked. So these came in the cellophane. Just make a note of the time. So if we say 5:15 then. So the as above deck. So we've got the cover card. That's the High Priestess. And then the standard, I think this might have been on the other side, on the back of the deck maybe, when I first unpacked it. Okay, so let's move that out of the way. So this is the Major Arcana. So that was what's traditionally the Magician card. That was the Full Summerlands. So we have the Goddess and the God replacing the Empress and the Emperor. Book of Shadows replacing the Hierophant, the Pope card, the Faith card in some decks. Beltane. There's a stand-in for the Lovers. Transformation. That's really quite beautiful, isn't it? Standing for the Hermit. I love this wheel. So pretty. Wheel of the Year. I love this card. 16, so that would be the Tower in the traditional decks. Halloween. And the position of the Moon card. Interesting. That, if you can see it, is the salamander, which is the symbol of fire. In most of the decks we'll see a salamander somewhere. So if we have a look, just looking at that in the background, that looks a bit like Jupiter to me. So 5 of fire then. Yeah, 5 of fire is Jupiter. And then there's a write-up about Jupiter. 6 of fire is Saturn. Neptune, that looks like. Or is that be Neptune actually? So that must be Uranus, 7 of fire. Let's have a look. I haven't really used this side of the deck, as you can probably tell. It's absolutely beautiful. I need to read the book, I think, for me, really, before I can start using it. Yeah, so that's Uranus. Neptune. I've just been watching something with Jason Momoa in it. If you've seen Aquaman. He's a hot bit of stuff. Yeah. This is forever my Jason Momoa card now. Oh dear. So, girls, if you like buff men, then I know this is not very spiritual, but there's definitely a few buff men in there. Oh dear. There we go. It's very nice. Oh, that's lots of different constellations. Well, shapes, animals anyway. I don't think there is a cat constellation. I might be wrong. Pretty. And then with the what would traditionally be the pages in the decks. So with the court cards are slightly different, whereas in the traditional decks we'd have the pages, the king, queen, and the king, queen, and knight, and then a page. What we have in these decks is there is the elemental card, which is the page, and then there are the 3 faces of the goddess. So we've got the elemental card, and then there is the maiden of fire, the mother of fire, and then the crown of fire. So the element maiden, mother, and crone. It's the 3 moon phases also. Okay, so that's fire, so then air. What does it say for 5? Obviously, if you just, I don't know if with the what the information, I'm assuming, presumably, with the low scarabea, when they do the individual decks, there is normally a small paper booklet with them in the different languages. So I'm assuming that if you buy the deck individually, you'll have something like that. But with this double deck, as I say, you've got this really cool book. So, which does give you, so it does give you a bit of a write-up Oh, no, it was fire. So the cards are all in the wrong order because because I have had them out in their pouches. So palmistry, 5 of Swords, omens is the 4, 6 is the familiars, 7 is I Ching, 8 is meditation. So the air suit seems to be ways of dreams. Yeah, so this is about direction and guidance from a source outside of themselves. So the suit of fire is active forces. That's why you've got all the fit guys. Astrological signs and houses. Interesting. Look at those cats. Cute. Wow. Oh wow, look at that. Beautiful. If you can see her chakras all lit up. Guessing that's tarot. So the 9 was runes, so the tree was runes, and then yeah, 10 is 10 of Aries tarot. So then we've got the element of air, we've got the maiden of air, the mother of air, the crone of air, and yeah, and then on to water. Quick look. So the water suit is the goddess, and the many aspects play an important role in modern witchcraft, perhaps because so many practitioners had experience only in male-dominated religions. The feminine aspect of the divine appeals to many. Of course, modern practitioners strive to many balance and recognise all forms of divine. There is no denying that many are drawn powerfully to the goddess. The suit of water is about the exploration of the goddess forms, as the suit focuses on relationships and particularly how our feelings and emotions shape our relationship and vice versa. There's also within this, I'm just reading this from the book, there's also actually a suggested reading list as well, so that's quite cool. I love this card. That to me, it I don't know, it just it just makes me think of kind of sprites and playing tricks and fun. It's probably nothing to do with that, but that's what it makes me think of. Their little faces, they're so cool. Maiden of Water. That's beautiful. Mother of water, crone of water. And then the earth suit is, let's have a look, what's it say about the earth suit? Sorry, I'll be right back a second. Most religions in the spiritual paths have sacred texts such as Bible or the Quran. For us, having no single holy book to share and to build upon, we turn to our God and goddesses. We trace the movement of the sun and the moon through the sky and watch the stars twinkle in the heavens. From earth, we not only have a home and knowledge, but also power. Everything that exists on earth has its own energy and magic and power. Crystals, stones, trees, plants, bodies of water, animals, insects. We can learn about it and interact with it until we know enough to use it effectively and be comfortable with the flow. The earth, our symbol for stability, and yet it is ever moving beneath its surface and through space, and everything upon it and in its water moves. Again, there's a suggested reading list. I hope that if, I hope there is a substantial little book with individual dates, because this book's really, really interesting. That's a goblin. Oh, cute. Or gnome, maybe. Sorry if I've just said the wrong word. Beautiful. He's playing an instrument. So that's the As Above, Volume 1. Okay, so Volume 2 then is the So Below. So this is the deck that sort of corresponds to more worldly 3D kind of day-to-day activities. So they're just the cards that I'm assuming will come with the deck if you've just bought the deck. There was a cellophane cover on this inside the box. With the larger box with both decks in it, you do get this book with it, and it's really, there's a lot of information in here about the two decks. Normally with the low Scarabeo stuff, if you buy an individual deck in a small box, there will be a booklet that comes with it that has normally got the 3 or 4 languages in there and a short description of each of the cards. So I'm assuming that you'll get the same with this. So this is the volume 2. So we start off with the Fool. It's very brightly coloured, this deck, and it depicts some quite funny kind of day-to-day happenings. The both decks are very female-centric. There is a real sort of sense of feminine energy kind of flowing through both decks. So the Emperor here, in most decks, would be depicted as a kind of almost like a male ruler, some sort of masculine archetype. In this deck, we see it as a female worker, a boss probably, Hierophant, a healer of some description, Lovers, Chariot, Strength. So it follows the in some decks you see the Strength and the Justice card mixed around between 8 and 11. But this is the Strength card at 8. The Hermit in the bath. The Wheel. And again we see the sort of the 3 phases of feminine maturity here. Maiden, Mother, Crone. Then we've got a small child also. Justice. Hanged Man. Death card. Temperance. The Devil. I love this is my devil. This is my temptation, definitely. Yeah. Brilliant. That made me laugh for the first time I saw that. I thought that was very appropriate. The Tower. That made me sort of think of kind of cartoon, you know, the sort of the comic book sketches. This strikes me as quite a sort of a frustrated, angry energy. Obviously she's just broken something on the bottom there, but it's like, you know, to me she looks like she's really angry, not really seeing red. The Stars. The Moon. The Sun. Judgment. And the World. So with the As Below deck, we see the kind of the use of the slightly, it's how we use the sort of the energies from the volume 1, from the kind of the as above, how it then translates and how we use it in our day-to-day lives. So it's quite interesting. So with this we've still got some, symbols from the other deck following through. Swords. So with these, in the deck that I have from the two, obviously from the larger pack, there is a write-up of each card. So the Four of Swords traditionally talks about, kind of rest and rejuvenation, a sort of a respite, healing from kind of pain or disappointment. And in this one here, she's at the office taking 5 minutes out away from whatever it was she's doing to blow some bubbles. So that's pretty cool. 5 of Swords. You always have to beat somebody to win, I guess. Filing. I wish I had people to help me with my filing. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? Having filing fairies for you. So with the below decks, whereas with the as above decks we had the element, with the below decks we've got the knave and the knight of swords and queens and the king. So the as above we've got the element and the three sort of faces of the crone, or the goddess, sorry. With the so below deck we've actually got the standard court cards. Wands. That's the postman outside. 4 of Wands. 5. 6. 7. The Salamanders are very present in the cards, which I think is quite cool. She can't have a real one with her, so she's got them in spirit with her, in essence. 8. 9. 10 of Wands. Knave. Knight. Queen. King. Then with the Pentacles, we've got our little friends back. Getting up to some mischief, I bet. 2 of Pentacles. 3. They're helping her. 4. 5. 6. So let's see what the 6 of Pentacles says. So the 6 of Pentacles says, it seems that nobody has everything they want, so deciding how to use the resources you have is important. Decisions are not always clear and divine, in a capital D. Divine guidance may feel absent. Trust the universe and make your decision. Divinatory meaning, sharing material resources, prioritizing needs and wants. Reversed, not having enough to do everything you want. I must admit, I don't normally use reversed cards. I don't purposely put reversed cards into my deck. But when I was using this deck, I was having a play around with it, getting to know it, and I did put in some reversed cards, and then kind of pulling them out, you know, doing a reading and actually just looking directly at the book. It actually gave some really kind of clear, I found the messages to be really very clear. Yeah, it was quite useful. So as I say, I don't normally use the reverse meanings because I think with the meaning, for me personally, I think the meaning of a card becomes apparent when you look at what's around it. So reverse cards aren't something that I purposefully put in. Sometimes the cards will come out reversed, and if they come out reversed, then I'll read them. But say with this deck, just to try it out, I purposefully put some cards in reverse and shuffled them, and then what came out was actually really quite surprising, but very, very kind of accurate. So, but it has that write-up for each of the cards in this book. As I say, hopefully there is something similar. Maybe you could pop in the comments below if there is enough information, or what the information is like with the individual decks, but certainly with this double deck, that book is great. He's got his laptop and he's got some helpers. Knight of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles. King. Cups. Yeah, so guys, that's both decks. So the cards with the low Scarabeo ones, they're a little bit sort of thinner than the American game system, but that's standard. They normally feel very sort of crisp and sharp. The book for the double deck is brilliant, very useful, very insightful. And there's some absolutely, certainly in the As Above decks, there's some absolutely beautiful pictures in there. Those of you on a spiritual or a kind of a Wicca path, I'm sure that the sort of the As Above deck will be absolutely incredible for you. And the As Below deck shows us sort of pictures of how we kind of incorporate that Wicca practice into daily life. There is, within the book, there is a spread that you can do where you combine the As Above, So Below, where you can combine both decks. And that's quite interesting, although I haven't done that, and admittedly I haven't done an awful lot of work with the As Above deck. So leave that there for you guys. Happy hunting. I hope this was useful. If it was useful, please do click like. It helps the channel, helps me to understand what you do like and what you don't like, and I'll look forward to speaking to you again soon. Thanks for watching. Cheers guys. Bye bye.